Hello. Happy new month and welcome to the first Saturday of the month of October. My name is Benjamin Kamoye and welcome to Reinvention Saturdays. The next 30 minutes is about your growth and development. The next 30 minutes is about fighting for your dream. The next 30 minutes is about holding the belief that you are equally fully resourced as anyone else that you have seen succeed in an area that you want to become great at. And Reinvention Saturdays is about just giving you the strategies, giving you the tips, bringing to you the awareness, the ahas, and the wisdom that is required for you to navigate your reinvention journey. What really pisses me off is when I see highly gifted people with great capacity and potential suffering, languishing, poor, taken advantage by people, taken advantage by the system. Because there are people who out here want to take advantage of you. And if you are not smart enough to really understand the process of creation, you will be a victim in this process. And I have walked that journey myself, where I have experienced a lot of pain, anguish, doubt, suffering, just because I was not able to know who I am, to tap into my greatness and to tap into my genius. And that is why the Reinvention Saturdays are about serving you and adding value to you. Some of you who are joining me for the very first time, you may not know this, but I'm on a mission to raise and impact 1 billion leaders. Yes, you heard me right. Billion leaders. And in that journey, I'm creating content, I'm creating resources, making it affordable, available, and accessible for anyone who is seeking to grow and develop themselves to become who it is that they were created to become. It's 2 minutes after the hour here. I want to dive into today's session where we're talking really about the 6 strategies to designing a life of impact and income. What I'm talking about here is the law of intentionality. The law of intentionality. In his book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell outlines 15 invaluable laws of growth. And what he is putting a case for is that there are laws when you want to grow. The last month, we spent the entire time talking about this idea of potential, And I did share with you that I hate the word potential, because what potential suggests to me in every way is someone who has got greatness within them, but they've not been able to bring it out into the world. And I shared with you the fact that I hated that word potential because it communicated to me a lot of confusion. Because I was asking myself, how come I have all this potential and yet I'm suffering this much? And people talked about it like it was a trophy, like I was genius, like there's something unique that I had. And I kept wondering, where is this potential and why is it not manifesting in my life? And so building up on that teaching the entire last month about potential, I really want to go in and talk to you about the law of intentionality. How do you design a life of impact and income? It was my story. It has been my journey, and I want to share with you the things that I do and continue to do, because I don't speak to you from a place of I have arrived. I speak to you as a fellow traveler. I am definitely farther down the road from where you are, maybe in one way or the other, but I'm a fellow traveler. And these are the 6 strategies that I constantly use when I'm sitting down to rethink my impact and income. These are not strategies that I used once and then I left them and I have outgrown them. You will never outgrow these 6 strategies because they are principles. And whatever phase you are at in your journey, you will find them useful as you go on to design a life of your dreams. So let's get on to the very first one. Why is this important? Why must we design? Why must we be intentional? Why do I have to sit here, Benjamin, and listen to you for the next 30 minutes? Here's why. Because growth doesn't just happen. It is not automatic. Most of us, like I did, I expected that because I was eating food every night and I was gaining height and my trousers were becoming shorter and my shoes could not fit me any longer, I got this idea that growth is automatic. It just happens. Now, that may be so from our thinking and the way we look at life. A tree just grows and becomes tall, flowers just blossom, but there is a process behind the scene for mastery, and that is what we want to go into. Even if you want to say that I just grew, I want to imagine that you sat down at specific times in your day and you ate certain foods, you ate a balanced diet, and you grew the way you grew. You did not suffer from ailments and diseases. You did not starve to death. Your growth was not accidental. It was intentional. You sat down and you created specific strategies for how I'm going to grow. I'm going to eat my fruits and vegetables and drink my water. And you are who you are today because there was an intentionality there. Your mom fed you and you knew how to, to feed yourself, and you grew. So when we come into the space of personal growth and development, I wonder where we get this idea that we will just grow, that you will get better, that you will automatically have emotional intelligence, that you will fix your inner game and look at the outer game, that you will get feedback. It is not an accident. It's not an accident. And so I'm going to share with you this statement very quickly, that whatever outcome that you have in your life right now, whether in your wellness, whether in your relationships, whether in your finances, whether in purpose, every outcome you have in your life today is a reflection of the choices that you've made. Either a choice to be intentional to create the results that you want, or a choice to wait and hope that accidentally things will come out the way you hope that they will. And so today's session goes against the grain to say growth does not just happen. If you will get the results that you want in my life, my friend, you have to step into the arena of life and play the game looking to win as you desire to win. You see, I know most people are not in the game of life. They've checked out. Life is happening to them. They're blaming Corona. They're blaming the economy. And I do not mean to say that I'm not empathetic to the effects and the impact of those two aspects on people's lives. But mastery, reinvention, is taking control, is taking responsibility for where you are. And saying, though I know that the pandemic has had a huge impact on the economy, I will not sit on the other side and be a victim. I will create the life that I want. I will step into the game of life and become causative. I'll become causative. I will be the cause for the life that I want. I don't want to be on the other side of because. Something has already had a cause and impacted my life negatively. And I'm on the other side crying, hoping things were different. Reinvention is about you taking responsibility for where you are and responsibility for where you want to go. And the 6 strategies I'm just about to share with you take you from a place where you are absent from life to the place where you're present. You are in the moment. You're living your life. You're creating your life. You're designing your life. The impact you want, the outcomes you want. So here is strategy number 1. Strategy number 1, don't rely on hope. That's the first way to quash a limitation. Don't rely on hope. Don't wait. Relying on hope means that you wait. And hope is not a strategy. Sitting here hoping that things are going to change, that things are going to get better. I'm hoping that the economy, I'm hoping that the political landscape, I'm hoping that COVID, I'm hoping. You're hoping on things that are outside your sphere of control, out of your domain of influence. Stay in the place where you have maximum control of everything. And that means that I'm not going to wait. I will participate. I will be active in designing the life that I want. So the first strategy is don't rely on hope, because hope is not a strategy. Let's go to the second one very quickly. The second one is number 2. Ask the big picture questions. Ask the big picture questions. The big picture questions are 3. There are 3 big picture questions, and I normally think of them as a triangle. And these are the questions of be, do, have. Be, do, have. Whom do I want to become? Whom do I want to become? What kind of person do I want to become? At the age of 8 years, my mom looked at me in the eye and she told me, "Wait to emodo, make yourself someone." And from that moment on, I have been in the creative process of saying, who is someone so that I can be them? And someone is someone who's got purpose. Someone is someone who's living a life of impact, living a legacy, influencing and creating solutions out into the world. And I sought to be that person, and I do seek to be that person every single day of my life. Even in the small decisions, I make myself someone. Who do I want to become? What do you want to do? Be, do, have. What do you want to do? And number 3, what do you want to have? What do you want to have? And so here comes the question, and I want you to write this question down. Who do you need to become in order to do what you want to do so that you can have what you want to have? That is the big picture question. And you got to start from there. You've got to start from there. The be, do, have questions, you've got to start from there. And because you achieve gains every day. Now I'm looking at the things that I have achieved right now in my life, and I'm like, okay, I've arrived at the place where I had emerged myself to be, to do, to have. I'm doing coaching, speaking, training at the highest level. On a global scale, I'm doing that. Who am I? I've become a solution provider. I've become a coach. I've become an expert in that place. And I have the results from having that kind of a life, being that kind of a person, doing the things that I do. I have those results. My life is a reflection of that. When I look at my day from morning until evening, when I look at where I live, when I look at the joys of life that I have, when I look at what I'm making available for my children and for my family, when I see how I'm being an impactful father to them and a husband to my wife, I am in the be, do, have picture that I created a couple of years ago. And today I'm creating the next picture of my be, do, have. So who do I then want to be? I'm already someone right now, as you are. Then who do I want to be tomorrow? I'm in that space and I'm creating that. I'm asking the big picture questions. So strategy number 1, don't wait on hope. Don't rely on hope. Don't rely on hope. Let God do what he does best. And as he's doing that, you are in the creative process, because that's how he's created you and I, to be positive, to have dominion over the circumstances of our lives, to have nothing dominate us. I don't want to be dominated by COVID. I mean, am I going to talk about COVID for the last 2 years? From 2020 March, COVID. Am I going to tell my son, COVID now, I won't give you bread? No, I don't want to be dominated by something. I want to dominate the circumstances, the conditions of my life. I've been given that power. You have been given that power. We have been given that power. None of us is unique over the other. We're created equal in the eyes of God. And so I'm tapping into that and saying, what is this that I want to be, do, and have? So asking the big picture questions is strategy number 2. And I asked the question, whom do you need to become in order to do what you want to do so that you can have what you want to have? And I normally think of do and have as the impact and income conversations. When you write your figure right now, the figure that you earn in a month, the figure that you earn in a year, do you want to add 2 zeros at the end? Why not? Add a zero at the end and make that annual income your monthly income. Add a zero at the end and make that monthly income your hourly income. It's possible. But who do you need to become to get that? What do you need to do to earn that? And what is it that you're going to, be doing so that you can have the quality of life that you want, the results that you want in terms of impact and income? So that's strategy number 2. Ask the big picture questions. Strategy number 3 is visualize. Visualize. This is leaning on the teaching that I did on the 5 powers of man. The 6 powers of man. There are 6 intellectual faculties. I'm going to summarize this very quickly. We've been taught that in order for us to interact with the physical world, we use the 5 senses of sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. Those are the 5 senses. We interact with that in the physical world. What about the spiritual world? How do we interact with the world of spirit, which is where the blueprint of our greatness exists? We use the 6 powers of man. We use memory, intuition, will, perception, imagination, and reason. Did I mention all of them? Yes. And I want you to go to the 6 powers of man. Just go to kamoya.com, go to all my courses, find the 6 powers of man. I talk about all those powers. And why this is powerful is because you want to enter into the game of creating the results that you want. And the faculty of imagination allows us to travel into the future and tune into the possibilities that we could create. And that is what I really want to help you become a master of. Become a master at creating the life of your dreams. I want you to become the master at creating the life that you know is possible. This thing is not a privilege for the few. I've come to burst the bubble and say, hey, the ones who got it had got nothing over you. The ones who created the life of their dreams had nothing over you. If anything, maybe they have more. It's just their ability to believe in themselves and go forward and create those lives. Because principles are few and methods are many. And the principles of co-creation with God are few. And you just need to follow those principles. They are not a respecter of persons. It doesn't matter your background, education level, current circumstances and conditions. You can create the life of your dreams. And so visualizing is using the mental faculty of imagination. All things are created twice, first in our mind and then in reality. You use this faculty of imagination every single day. You're using it today to think about the afternoon. Maybe you're going to church tomorrow. You're thinking about the dress you will wear. You're thinking about a presentation next week and you're thinking, how is it going to go? You see yourself in the room. You see yourself smart. You see yourself delivering with confidence. You see yourself there. People are applauding. They're saying it's great. You're traveling into another country. You see yourself there in that country having fun with. We use this faculty every day. So we visualize the upcoming scenes of our life. And you've got to visualize. Am I putting for my children's children? You've got to visualize your relationships, your siblings, your family, your significant other, your spouse, your children, your work, and those colleagues that you hang around. What quality of relationships do you have there? You've got to, visualize every aspect of purpose. What is the impact that you're having? What is the legacy you're living out here into the world? Are you bringing out everything that is within you? You've got to visualize every domain of your life. And then take the next step. Take the next step, which is really just beginning to take action on those aspects. But before we take action, you've got to face your fears. I'm taking it out again from the very beginning. Number one, don't rely on hope. Don't rely on hope. Number two, ask the big picture questions. Number three, visualize every aspect of your life. Number four, face your fears. The thing that happens immediately you say, I want to live this kind of life. The thing that happens when you say, I'm going to create this kind of results. The thing that happens when you begin to visualize the possibilities of your life is you sense the emotion of fear. And one of the things that I've come to appreciate the most is that fear is not an enemy. Fear is not an enemy. Fear is a friend. Fear is an emotion just like joy. Fear is an emotion just like disappointment. Fear is an emotion just like excitement. These emotions are a frequency of vibration, is a way that our cells vibrate that communicates how we are to respond in that moment. When the emotion of excitement checks into our body and that's the vibrational frequency, we smile. Our eyes lighten up. Our chin just expands. We cannot help it but to smile and to laugh and to be giggly and to laugh. And when we express that into the world, people connect and know this is what's happening. And when we feel fear, it is always a chemical release and an electrical pulse into our body that says something is wrong. Something is off. You need to address this. I'm not sure whether I'm resourced to handle this. That is what the emotion of fear is all about. And the emotion of fear is your friend. It's a protective emotion. And when it checks in, it has three responses available for you. It's either take off, which is flight. It's either engage, which is to fight with the enemy, or it is to freeze, unsure of what to do. And so when we face our fears, when we're in the creative process, what we are seeking to do is to go towards the fear and see it not as a red light, but see it as an orange light that says, you need to proceed, but you need to proceed with caution. And as we see fear as an orange light or as an amber light, what we want to do is we want to ask the question, what is the message that you have for me, fear? What are you telling me? My mentor Paul tells me that all fear comes from two sources. Either I am not enough or I have not enough. I am not enough or I have not enough. And just being in that moment, feeling so much fear, wondering what you're going to do next. The message that fear is telling you is, hey, Benjamin, you have not equipped me to navigate the situation. Think about the first time you got onto a bike. You felt the fear that the bike could just go and you don't know how to control it. You felt the fear that you did not have the resources and the ability to ride the bike. You had not mastered the principle of balance. And in that moment you felt fear. But as soon as you trained and you got good, the fear went away. Fear was a message that came to you to say it's not safe. And that is the message that fear speaks to us. It's the message that fear sends to us. And when we see fear not as an enemy to be clobbered and beaten, but rather a conversation that needs to be entered so that we can engage and ask fear, what are you telling me? What are you making me aware of? Again, using the 6 powers of man, our intuition, and picking up on that information that tells you, hey, I'm not sure that you have enough savings to move in the direction that you're going. Hey, I'm not sure that if you are equipped to do that. Think about when you begin to move towards the edge of a building. You are on the 60th floor, right at the top of the building, and you begin to move towards the edge of the building. What message comes to you? You feel the fear of falling away. Fear is an emotion that comes to protect you. And there is a message. Listen to that message. And that's what strategy number 4 is about. It's to face your fears and say, what are you telling me? What are you making me aware of? What could I do so that you get out of my way? And as you visualize that life, because growth is not an accident, it's got to be intentional. You begin to say, if I put this in place, you're going to get out of my way. And fear will say, yes. If you prepare in this way, I'll get out of your way. And knowing to work with fear is the fourth strategy in this work that we're doing. The fifth strategy is to make a plan. Make a plan and start today. Make a plan and start today. Make a plan. So you have asked the big picture questions, strategy number 2. You have visualized what that reality could look like. And then number 4, you faced your fears. And then number 5, you're making a plan. You're making a plan. You're making a plan of, how am I going to get from here to there? How am I going to grow from here to there? How am I going to develop myself from here to there? And I know that you have set goals in the past. I know that you've established goals in the past. But for some reason, you were not able to reach those goals. Or it got to a place where you just felt like you were just going round and round and round in circles. And that's where I come in, to support you in the creation process. Excuse me. To really support you in the creation process, to create the outcome that you want. To support you in the creation process, to create the outcome that you want. And to support you in that journey. And that's why I'm inviting you right now to send an email to reinvention@kamoye.com. Send an email to reinvention@kamoye.com. And what that's going to do is that I'm going to get in touch with you and begin to share with you a place where you could meet with me, and I could guide you through the process of creation. I know that this is where the rubber meets the road. Making a plan from here to there. How do I do that? How do I suspend the need to know how? How do I do that, Benjamin? I've tried that. And it has not worked. And so the question that I'm asking you is, who do you have to journey with? Who do you have in your corner who is journeying with you and helping you to create the life of your dreams? Send me an email, reinvention@kamoye.com, so that we can begin to journey together as you create the life of your dreams, So, number 1, don't wait. Don't rely on hope. Number 2, ask the big picture questions, the be, do, have questions. Number 3, visualize that future and everything that's possible. Number 4, face your fears and listen to the message. Number 5, make a plan and start today. Make a plan and start today. And then number 6 is measure every outcome. Measure every outcome. You see, if you don't measure your growth and progress, you will not realize it. And this is where I failed the most. I had a great plan and I had motivation, and I stepped into the journey and I started to do the work, and I started to do the work, and I started to do the work. But I was not measuring incremental, small increments. I was not measuring small increments. And guess what happened on day 5? It was too much for me to take in. And when I looked at my results, seemingly nothing had happened. I did not have more money in the bank. I did not see the kind of impact I was making in my weight loss. Maybe I was not seeing the kilos dropping. I gave up. I gave up. Had I visualized? Oh, yes. Had I seen the big picture? Yes. Had I confronted my fears? Yes. Did I make a plan? Yes. Did I start and take action? Yes. Was I measuring my growth? No. An incremental aspect in every way is worth the journey. It's worth the journey. What happens to the seed when you put it under the ground? Do you go there after 3 days to remove and check what's happening? No. There is a process that is beneath the surface. And if you have watched these documentaries where they just go and place a huge camera next to a seed, and then they accelerate the process, they just speed up the video like 30 times. You can just see the process that's happening behind the surface. That the the root is going downwards, and then the cotyledon is beginning to shoot upwards, and it's piercing through the soil, and it comes to the surface. What they're showing us, they're going behind the scenes to measure and show us there's a process. There's a process happening. There's a process happening, and measuring helps us tap into those micro adjustments in our way of thinking, micro adjustments in our responses to life, micro adjustments in the income that we get. If you got a shilling more, if you got $1 more than what you got last month, did you measure that? Or did you say it was just $1? What if that happened 1,000 times? If that incremental gain, that increment happened 1,000 times, that would be $1,000, 1,000 shillings. What if it happened 10,000 times? What if it happened 1,000,000 times? But it has to be you measuring those little increments and gains. Measure every system. Measure every aspect of what you have said, I want to be, I want to do, I want to have. Measure every little increment, because then you can judge whether you're succeeding, because then you can know what to adjust and what to shift and what to change. Today I am on episode 30 of the Reinvention Saturdays. Am I going to stop now? Never. Am I where I have visualized I could be with the impact and the income that I seek to create? I'm not there. Do I stop right now? No. Am I measuring the little aspects? Yes. And just having one more person watching, that is something I'm adding in my book. And having one more person join my body of work and say, Benjamin, that is one more person. Having 3 emails sent to me, someone saying, I want you to journey with me, that is an email. And I'm inviting you who is here today watching me, because I want to work with you closely. I know how this journey can be. I know how this journey can be when you journey alone. And so if you're here watching, send an email to reinvention@kamoya.com, reinvention@kamoya.com, and just say, hey, I want you to work with me. I want you to guide me on my journey. That's all I want you to do. That's all I want you to do. And I'm going to reach out to you and I'll tell you how we're going to work with you, how we will begin to do the work together, and how I'm going to support you in your journey to create an intentional life, to design a life of impact and a life of great income. My friends, my time is up for here today. I am grateful that you came on to join me, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this later. And before you leave, my request to you is to subscribe. For those of you watching on YouTube, subscribe to my channel so that you can get more of these resources as they become available. And share this link right now. Share this link. Let other people know that this is happening. Tell them, hey, you need to join next Saturday at 9:30 a.m. At 9:30 a.m. I'm going to be talking on another topic of reinvention and how to really master, manifest, and monetize your brilliance. It's a conversation of the impact and income. Impact and income. Continue to visualize it. Continue to see what you want and begin to manifest your brilliance. Thank you for your time again, Benjamin Kamoya. Bless you, be well, and bye for now.